Alton Towers is the UK's biggest theme park resort and is home to some world record breaking roller coasters. However, for such a big theme park, Alton Towers is home to a grand total of 0 major water rides. So if Alton Towers were to get a major water ride in the future, what would it be? Well, currently, Alton Towers is home to 2 water rides, the Rapids and Battle Galleons, one of which actually gets you wet, although to be fair, the waterfalls are back on Congo, so we'll give it that. Ever since the flume was removed for the Wicker Man, which by the way is a huge upgrade, so I'm not complaining, but the park hasn't had a standout water-based attraction, which I think every theme park needs. For instance, Thorpe Park has Tidal Wave, Pleasure Beach Valhalla, Chessington Tiger Rock, and so on. Every theme park has a standout water-based attraction. Now, as time has gone on, ride manufacturers have become very innovative with water rides, and there's so many models on the market, but which could be the right fit for Towers? Well, me personally, I'd love to see a similar ride to Storm Surge over at Thorpe Park.
But without water, it's not Storm Surge. He's down!
No, I'm only joking, but why does that ride get so much hate? Like, just leave it alone, please. And it has long queues as well, usually. Anyway, when I think about water rides, the main manufacturer that comes straight to my head is Intamin. Their portfolio of water rides is huge, and I'm going to go through next some of the models that I potentially could fit very well at Alton Towers. Of course, you have the typical sort of log flume where you sit in a boat and go through the course of the layout. There's some water features, there's some theming, and 2 or 3 drops. But what Intamin have done, they've taken this concept and played with it a little bit, because not only does this log flume model have a vertical lift, it also has a launch which launches riders to a top speed of around 30 miles per hour. I know, it's absolutely crazy that there's a launch on a log flume, like, it just doesn't make sense. The log flume also goes over itself multiple times and has interactions with other rides and attractions at SeaWorld San Diego. This log flume will be interacting quite a lot with the rapids that they have there, and I think it'll be really cool to see something similar at Alton Towers. The one at San Diego is the world's steepest flume coaster. Could Alton Towers beat that potentially? We know Alton Towers like their marketing point, so potentially that could be one. And a huge marketing point for this as well is that it'll be the only launched log flume in the UK, and I think it'd fit Alton Towers very well because it's very family orientated, the typical sort of classic log flume, but it's also got that launch, so it's also quite thrilling. So it really caters for the whole of the family. We'll come on to theming a little bit later on in the video, but the next sort of water ride model that I think would be quite cool to see at Alton Towers is, of course, a water coaster. Now, this combines a roller coaster and a water ride together, hence the name water coaster. It's quite simple, really. Once again, this will be the first water roller coaster in the UK, and I've actually ridden a water coaster over at SeaWorld Orlando, and it was a very good experience. A lot of their one is in the dark as well, so you don't know what's coming up. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. The theming's not great, I don't think. I think a lot of the effects were turned off when I was there, but still, it was a great coaster, and I loved how you have the water splash on there as well. So I think it'd fit Alton Towers very well. There's 10 passengers per boat on this, and you've got the splashdown landings, interactive water features, impressive heights, space efficient vertical chain lift, all of those lovely things that Alton Towers can look into. But in terms of the off-ride perspective as well, it's a very impressive sort of structure because it's a sort of a log flume boat on there, but you've got the roller coaster track and it's going through water. So I think it's very impressive from off-ride as well. By no means is it going to be the most intense roller coaster experience because it combines the two, a log flume and also a roller coaster. With this as well, I think it'd be quite cool to see maybe an indoor section, have the major drop outside so it looks good from off-ride, but have maybe some of the track sections inside just to make it a little bit more interesting. Another water ride that I'd really like to see is the Giga Splash. Once again, you guessed correctly, it's from Intamin Amusement Rides, and this one looks very interesting. It's never built before. We've just got these videos and sort of concept arts that Intamin have created, and it looks like that train has been taken straight from a B&M coaster because look at the train. You've got 4 seats, each going back. There's about 6 rows on it, if I counted right. Once again, it's very stunning from off-ride because you've got that big sort of waterfall. And rather than the boats going on the actual water, in the middle you've got like a track piece there. And the boat goes down that piece of track. Tell me why the trains look like B&M and then the track looks like RMC. It's like Intamin have done B&M plus RMC equals water ride. Another very interesting concept by Intamin, but here's another one where the track looks suspiciously like RMC, and it's the same train design on this one and the same track design. It's called the Ultra Splash. Once again, one of these hasn't been built yet. It's a splashy shuttle coaster, not a splash shuttle coaster, a splashy shuttle coaster. This is literally what a Zamperla disco coaster would look like if water was around it, because it's got that middle airtime hill, you go up both sides, and yeah, it looks like a very sort of interesting ride experiences. I've seen POVs of the Mack's Power Splash, which is very, very similar to this one, and they don't look amazing, they don't get you too wet either. I would much rather the models that we saw before, they're just a little bit more creative, a little bit more innovative, whereas this one's literally a Zamperla disco. And also not forgetting the tree line restriction at Alton Towers, this one does look pretty high, but then again the rest are pretty high, so once again Alton Towers would have to get their buckets and spades out and dig down and create some very nice rock work.
You really think your feet are going to crack against the rock?
I'm going to move to some other manufacturers now, but of course Intamin do have more water ride models on their website, such as Flume Ride, Spill Water, Mega Splash, which is similar to Drenched over at Oakwood, and Tidal Wave as well. But Spill Water and Flume Ride, they're sort of just a typical sort of log flume ride with a little bit of differences on the boat design. Hang on one second, what's that sound? The icon's calling. Yes, it's time to head over to a Mack Rides product. It'd be very nice to see a Mack product at Alton Towers. It's been a very long time since we've got one, and Mack do some very good water ride based attractions, such as the water coaster, very similar to Intamin's. You've got the classic boat on there, and then you've got the roller coaster track, which can have bank curves, steep drops, and yeah, combine it with a big drop at the end. Just like Intamin, you have the Mack Power Splash, which is very similar. You've got the Zamperla disco coaster layout on there, and rather than being RMC track, this is just the normal sort of water coaster track. So it'd be nice to see any of these Mack products at Alton Towers. They're always very good quality, so it'd be nice to see one. Now another manufacturer is Zamperla. Zamperla, Theo, don't they just create flat rides like the Zamperla Disco Coaster and the Zamperla Nebulous? No, they don't, because now they're really starting to up their game and they're coming out that family market and creating big thrill attractions. And a water ride that I saw recently is the Big Wave, and this is a very small footprint water-based attraction. It's nothing like a log flume or a water coaster. It's literally two towers going up the side, then you've got the ride vehicle in the middle. It's then lifted and then dropped into a big pool of water, and all the water then spills out, and it also comes on riders, and you can change the setting if Alton Towers want to. They can get riders wet, non-riders wet. They can even create a tunnel where the water doesn't go, so it sort of scares those who aren't riding. It's a very cool concept by them. I'd love to see something at Alton Towers like this. It's not as big and it's not as major as the water rides that we saw earlier. However, it's another sort of flat ride for the park, and you can also change the setting. So just like SNS Shot and Drop Tower, you can sort of have it where it drops and then bounces a little bit, then does a big splash. So there's lots of different options that Alton Towers can do with this, and it will be nice to see one in the UK. But with that said, I'm not going to go through any more water-based attractions. You can find all of these on the Intamin, Mack, Zamperla websites, and of course there's loads of different manufacturers out there that do water-based attractions, so go and do some research. Where could this water ride be located? Well, I think they'll rip Congo River Rapids out and replace it with a much bigger and better water ride. No, I'm only joking. I think while we all slate Congo River Rapids, it is actually very good fun. It's probably one of the roughest rapids in the UK, not the most themed, that goes to Drayton Manors, but they have got their waterfalls back on, so it does get you a little bit wet. Probably one of the best rapids in the UK anyway, but I think they'd keep the rapids because it's a family pleaser at Alton Towers. There's not too many rides at Alton Towers that younger guests can go on apart from Sea Bibby's Land, so the Congo River Rapids really caters for those. So I think they'd keep the Congo River Rapids and potentially put this on an unused car park maybe. Alton Towers has plenty of space, and I'm sure they can fit a water ride in, but you never know, maybe they could expand the park into the car park and put it there. I'm not too sure, but I'm sure they'll find some space for it. I mean, the theme park is 550 acres, so I'm sure they can find some space for a water coaster and maybe some flat rides. In terms of the theme, there's so many routes that Alton Towers could go down. They could go down the Viking route potentially, a sea or aquatic sort of theme, maybe a particular sea creature would be cool to see. The one that we saw in the Big Waves video, one of the Zamperla theming items that we saw was like an octopus with the tentacles going up the tower, and you had like a big pool surrounding the ride with different theming items in it. I don't know, that'd be quite cool to see at Alton Towers. A bit of a lighter theme, definitely not a darker theme. Knowing Alton Towers, they'd put it in X sector and call it the Marmalizer, but there we go. Would you like to see a water ride at Alton Towers Resort? Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'd really like to see a water coaster potentially at Alton Towers, or one of these Zamperla Big Waves one, or whatever it's called, would be very cool to see. Because then you get two rides in one, a flat ride and a water ride. There you go. The finance department at Alton Towers, call me. I am available for a job. No, but seriously, I think the priority is getting flat rides in Alton Towers, and then maybe later on, maybe in 10 years, 5 years sort of time, we can then start dreaming about a major water ride at the UK's biggest theme park resort. Sorry, not forgetting the spa, Alton Towers Resort and spa. Please, please, don't arrest me for that. What water ride would you like to see at Alton Towers Resort? Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you made it this far into the video, hello! Thank you so much for watching right till the end of the video. And because you made it this far, type in the comment section down below, Mack Rides products. They make some awesome coasters. Icon, I'm looking at you. Also, folks, I've got some national statistics for you. 87.1% of you are not subscribed. Why in the world would you... What... Please hit subscribe. We're nearly at 3,000 subscribers. Help to get to 3,000 subscribers, please. Just subscribe. Thank you for watching.